What is up, everybody? It's Heretic here, and I'm back with another Pokemon trading card game online deck video. Today we will be looking at a deck list and then testing my Vespiquen Vileplume deck. And so, this deck, it's pretty aggressive. It does most of its playing on turn 1. It's also pretty streaky. Definitely can run hot or cold. I'm no stranger to decks like that after Archie's Blastoise and all that stuff. But this is actually probably one of my... This and Trevenant Break are two of my two item lock decks I've actually preferred more than a lot of the ones in the past, just because of in this case, of the pure power of or form of offense that we can get with this. So our lead attacker is Vespiquen, and so of course for 2 colorless, she does Be Revenge for 20 damage plus an additional 10 more damage for each Pokemon in our discard pile. We run 27 Pokemon, so that should not be an issue. We also have Vileplume. We run a 4-3-3 line of Vileplume, whose ability states that each player can't play any item cards from his or her hand, so really disruptive card there to go along with Vespiquen's attack. 4-4 line of Vespiquen, 4-3-3 line of Vileplume. We also play 4 copies of Unknown, as pretty much every Vespiquen deck should. Its ability, Farewell Letter. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may discard this Pokemon and all cards attached to it, and if you do, you draw 1 card. So it also obviously helps power up Vespiquen's Be Revenge attack, as well as drawing us more cards to get to the stuff we need sooner rather than later. And then we run 4 copies of Shaman EX, card pretty much run in every deck. We run the full 4 copies here to maximize the consistency of being able to put Vespiquen and Vileplume on the board on the very first turn through Forest of Giant Plants. And since we rely on double colorless energy to attack, we can also use Sky Return in case of emergency. 30 damage, return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. Potentially useful against Night March as well if we're going up against a Joltik. But if we go up against Night March and we go first, that's probably going to win us the game. If we go second, that might become a thing. And then 1 Bunnelby. For Rototiller, we can use one of our double colorless energies to power him up as well. Rototiller, you can use twice. He can attack twice per turn thanks to his Omega Barrage Ancient trait. And we can mainly just put our other double colorless energies back in the deck. You can also get back Lysander and AZ, stuff that might be useful. But it's mainly there for our double colorless energies. So that's it for the Pokemon line. 27 Pokemon. As far as our item cards go, 4 Acrobikes. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, take 1, discard the other. Can help put Pokemon in the discard pile and get us what we need a lot faster. Same deal with Trainer's Mail. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can reveal a trainer card you find there, except for Trainer's Mail, put it in your hand, shuffle the rest back. So the difference there being is that the Trainer's Mail shuffles, of course, shuffles the other cards back, whereas Acrobike discards the second card. 4 Battle Compressor, again, we're running Vespiquen, so we're relying on Pokemon in our discard pile. It's a great way to stock that discard pile up. And we can also throw our grass types away and then use Revitalizer, a new item card from the Generations expansion where we can put 2 grass Pokemon from our discard pile into our hand. Pretty solid, useful card there. And then 4 Ultra Ball to search any Pokemon that we want at the cost of discarding 2 cards from our hand. And finally, 2 Level Ball, which can this card searches your deck for any Pokemon at no cost as long as it has 90 HP or less. It has 20 total targets in the deck. Only the 3 Vileplume and 4 Shaman are not valid targets for Level Ball. And then finally, 2 Float Stones. Gives free retreat to whatever it's attached to. Put this on your Vileplume when it's still an Oddish or a Gloom, so if it gets Lysander, you can just bring it right back to the bench. That's about all I have to say on that. 3 Forest of Giant Plants. It's our stadium card of choice. And it's pretty vital to our strategy here, of course, as it allows us to evolve our Grass-type Pokemon on the first turn, as well as whatever turn they come into play, so we can just go first turn evolve Oddish Gloom Vileplume and Combi Vespiquen. 3 Professor Sycamore, pretty standard. Discard and draw 7. Just probably our most likely supporter choice for turn 1. Best supporter in the game, at least in standard by far. Lysander, allowing us to take choice knockouts later on in the game once we've set up. Can also Lysander out of an item lock if we're going up against Trevenant. And AZ, a card I feel should be in all Vileplume decks because it lets us not only pick up Vileplume if it were to get Lysandered, but also just if it's on our bench, and we can go ahead and play any item cards we might be holding on to, and then throw Vileplume right back into play with Forest of Giant Plants. Finally, 4 double colorless energy, because they fulfill all the needs of our attack costs for Vespiquen, Bunnelby, Shaman, and even Unknown could attack. So who knows? Maybe it isn't so unknown. Bad joke intended. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and take this deck for a test drive and see how it does. So hopefully I can show you guys exactly how this works. I know some of you guys probably already seen it. Maybe you'd like to see it in action. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so we see metal types. That's never a good thing to see with this, because we do not want to see an Aegislash EX come into play. And we do not win the coin flip this time, so I guess it's good to see what will happen as we play from going second instead of going first. So, again, we do get the desired Combi to start, which is always a good sign. Put Unknown down on the bench. Could debate that maybe we should have kept that in hand. And we see our opponent starts with a Shaman. Yikes. So hopefully we don't see an Aegislash come down here. That's really not a card that we want to be looking at right now, as we do not have a way around it. Aegislash is pretty much gives us an auto loss. Thing is, you don't really want to be running Hex Maniac in this deck due to the fact that it would shut down Vileplume completely. Definitely makes it difficult, but you might need to if you want to deal with Aegislash. In this instance, I think we probably just take the auto loss, but it really depends. So we see a Shaman there off an Ultra Ball, 2 VS Seekers on the discard, however. Yikes. I guess going against this deck, though, that's not too big a deal, seeing as to how item cards will become worthless if our strategy sets up. And we also do have Forest of Giant Plants in our hand once again to start things off. Always good to see. So our opponent plays a Skyla. See what he decides to go for here. Maybe a supporter for next turn, depending on what he's holding, or maybe, like, say, an Ultra Ball, search for something else. Put something maybe that he wants to in play a little bit more than a Shaman or the benched Bronzor. And so that is what we see as an Ultra Ball. Now, please do not have an Aegislash. There are 5 prize cards on our opponent's board right now. We see Bronzong and Metal discarded, and we see Scizor EX. So interesting little combination there. And that could prove to be threatening, as Mega Scizor may not be one-shottable very easily, and it will also discard our energies. So that will definitely make things interesting. So we can go ahead and Ultra Ball those 2 cards away, since we can play the other 2. Grab a Shaman from the deck. And then we can attach a double colorless energy, play Forest of Giant Plants, and Shaman for 6 cards to hand. High 5 Shaman plays, anyone? Alright, go ahead and play a Battle Compressor. We should be able to... let's see, we have a Gloom in hand. We can go ahead and be able to drop a Vileplume. Maybe even another one. Yeah, okay. So we can do that. And then with our second one, go ahead and leave one of those Glooms in there. Drop probably another Oddish. Make sure there's still one in here somewhere. Okay. Can drop a Vespiquen line. Go ahead and put that down, and we'll go grab another Shaman from the deck. Making sure we have enough resources to do with the rest of this. We will draw another 6 cards fresh off the top of the deck. And still no Oddish, but we have plenty of choices here, plenty of options. Let's go ahead and actually play this Battle Compressor first. And what do we have left Pokemon-wise? Not a whole lot. Toss the Unknown. Suppose we can go ahead and get rid of the last Shaman. Well, there's 2 left, my bad. Do we want to send them both? Let's see, Vespiquens. Probably send just something else that we don't really need. I don't know. We could send Lysander, maybe. That's not in here, of course. Probably send the AZ then. Just let those 3 go. And then we have a Trainer's Mail we can use for a level ball. Not too bad. So let's go ahead and use Farewell Letter. See if we can't start something on here. There's another level ball. Really just... There's an Ultra Ball. Okay. That's why we leave a Shaman in the deck. So that serves us well. We go ahead and get Vespiquen out and into play. And we can use a level ball here to get... Let's see, what do we got? Looks like we've got a Combi. We need an Oddish and a Gloom we can get here. And then all we're going to need then is Vileplume. So we may actually just be able to Ultra Ball directly for the Vileplume. Although without a Float Stone, that could definitely make things more interesting. Go ahead and grab those. And then we can toss... Let's see here. What do we got? How many Combis did we put in here? 2. And how many Vespiquens? Looks like only 1 actually. So we can definitely let one of those go. And I think we're going to let the energy go in this case. And we're going to see that's what we got for Float Stones. We got 2 Float Stones left in the deck. So we can go ahead and grab the Shaman, I guess. We got Oddish, which can immediately evolve into Gloom. We can go ahead and put Combi down, and then Shaman for 5 more cards. Really do have to be careful how many cards we draw here, but that should give us what we need. We can go ahead and Float Stone there. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the discard pile. So we can afford to bring a couple back. Mainly that one. That's probably the big one we need right now. And we've got a Combi down, so we can grab a Vespiquen here. Definitely go ahead and put that into play. Do a Trainer's Mail. I can get us an Ultra Ball. Not sure if we're really going to be using that for anything, though. Battle Compressor. Try to toss some stuff. Have a Vileplume already, so we can let that one go. And I think we'll go ahead and let one of those go as well. So that is a thing. And then we can just go ahead and play Vileplume down. And how many energies did we end up getting rid of? Just the 1. Okay, so we can use Be Revenge here for 160 damage. And that will net us a pair of prize cards, and those aren't going to be helping us anytime soon. So we really got to hope that we don't lose this double colorless energy. We see another Shaman EX come right up into the active spot. And there is Bronzong, so now that the threat of Scizor is real, for certainly. And that is something we will need to take note of. So we'll see Metal Links happen here, and an energy attached to Scizor. Thankfully we cannot see a Spirit Link, as we have Vileplume just kind of locking that down. So we see a Professor Sycamore here discarding a Skyla and a Level Ball. And there's a Zorua. So we'll see a 1 prize attacker maybe come out in the form of Zoroark. And where do we go from here? Let's see if he decides to attach a double colorless, or maybe attach another energy to Scizor, and ultimately if he decides to Mega Evolve. So we will see an energy attachment onto Scizor. And will we see the Mega Evolution? We will not. Okay, so we could Sycamore this whole hand away, but that just seems like not a good idea with only 7 cards left in the deck. So we're just going to go ahead and use Be Revenge here for 160 damage. take a knockout, and maybe we'll hit a double colorless off the prizes. And we do. So that is definitely a welcome sight. And if that Scizor comes up now and knocks us out, we will be able to bring up our Vespiquen and simply finish the job off. And looks like that is exactly what's going to happen here. We're going to take 110 damage from Scizor's attack. We'll see a Zoroark and a Metal Lynx here, but it doesn't look like that's going to matter because we're going to get knocked out, which is going to bump our attack damage up to 180, and that will be enough to knock out Scizor. So, Vespiquen bites the dust. We bring up the next one, and that double colorless energy we drew off the prizes comes just in time, as we can simply attach that and use Be Revenge for a massive knockout at 180 damage, and that will give us the game, ladies and gentlemen. So there is Vespiquen Vileplume, just like that, and we're gonna complete our challenge of 500 damage just like that with our with our grass types. Anyway, that's Vespiquen Vileplume for you guys. I am Heretic, and I hope to see you guys again all soon. Cheers!